Want to see something interesting? Here's a chart of the predictive ability of each major box score stat relative to points. And sitting at the top of the chart is steals, valued at a whopping 9.1 points. And yes, this basically means a steal is worth 9 points. That is to say, a singular point's value is about 11% of a steal's value. But why and how is this even possible? Well, let me break it down for you. Steals, as we know, are incredibly valuable not only because it ends the opponent's possession, but it can also start a transition possession for the team getting the steal, which often leads to fast break buckets. So immediately you can see how a single steal is more valuable than a single 2-point basket. But that value comparison isn't enough to justify a steal being 9 times more valuable than a single point. So, what can justify it? Well, there are definitely multiple answers behind this question that could be true, such as steals costing less than points. However, this answer is not entirely true because although points are bought through the expense of shot attempts and possessions, steals are oftentimes a gamble. Missing a steal could potentially leave a massive hole in the defense, since a missed gamble can leave a player completely out of position, giving up a better shot than if the player didn't gamble at all. Both sides do have a cost, and I can't for sure say that one is more valuable than the other because of that, but a simpler justification could be right in front of our eyes. Think about every NBA basketball game you've ever watched, whether every star player was healthy or if everyone on the court was Thanasis Antetokounmpo. No matter who played, a typical number of points, assists, and rebounds was always recorded. But some stats only happen because someone makes them happen, a stat like steals. What this value disparity really comes down to is replaceability. Can one player score what another player does on any random night in the NBA? The answer is yes, and we've seen it happen for years because of the next guy up mentality. Whether it be Gigi Jackson and Vince Williams combining for 47 in the lack of Ja and Desmond Bane, or Kyrie and Tim Hardaway Jr. combining for 83 in the lack of Luka. But why exactly do these players explode for points in the lack of their stars? Well, here's a chart of the replaceability versus irreplaceability of each box score stat. Points are 83% replaceable, which is why no matter who is playing, the point totals at the end of the game will still be the typical amount. But this is not the case with steals, because they're only 4% replaceable, making them significantly more valuable than a single point. So taking a player that averages one more point than another player versus a player that averages one more steal than another player will have significantly different impacts on their respective teams. For example, if Kevin Durant averages 25 points a game and Devin Booker averages 26 points a game, the Suns are likely to only average 0.17 points more with Booker on the floor, since that 1 point average is 83% replaceable. But if Steph Curry averaged 3 steals a game versus Chris Paul's 2 steals a game, the Warriors would likely average 0.96 more steals with Curry on the floor because steals are only 4% replaceable. The combination of rarity, initial comparison, and irreplaceability justifies steals to be worth significantly more than any other major box score stat. I personally don't think it is 9 points worthy, but definitely more than a regular basket. But what do you guys think? Is the NBA steal truly this valuable, or is it just another overrated stat? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.